everyone, it's Danielle here. Greetings and welcome to Trinidad. As you can see, I am not in my classroom. I am on vacation with my husband. We went to the Caribbean for our 2-year anniversary vacation, and right now I am in a beautiful park in Trinidad called Lopino Park. Very beautiful, historic area, and we're having a really good time. I wanted to make this video briefly talking about traveling when you work for SayAbc. One of the perks of this job is you can do it anywhere remotely. You don't have to choose travel or working. You can do both. So I wanted to make this video to talk about my personal tips that have really helped me when I travel and have to work. Now, as you know, with SayAbc, they do schedule you for homeroom classes, which are 4 weeks in advance, or they can schedule up to 14 weeks in advance. And when I first started, I wasn't sure how that would work because, you know, I travel. I want to travel. I can't schedule my time that far in advance, but it has worked perfectly to be traveling and working. And I wanted to share with you some tips. My first tip, number 1, about traveling while you're working for SayAbc is to keep it simple. When you're traveling, you obviously cannot bring your whole classroom with you, so you have to simplify your classroom to just the essentials. I figured out a couple of good ways to simplify things that I can still travel simply, but teach my classes effectively. The first thing that I use are headphones. And when I'm usually in my home office, I use a Bluetooth really set of headphones that go all the way over and have a microphone out here. I love those. But when I'm traveling, I just use the simple headphones that came with my cell phone. They're just mobile pods that have a wire and a microphone. I'm sure you have it with your cell phone. They work perfectly. The reason why I usually like to use the Bluetooth headset is, say, ABC songs or the warm-ups. You have to move your legs or jump up. So I like to have that mobility that I am not connected by a wire to my laptop. But while you're traveling in a pinch, use those headphones and they're great. Another thing that really helps me to save a lot of space and weight, because of course when you're traveling you have to have low weight, is don't bring your whiteboard. Just a piece of white printer paper, laminated, or I didn't even have mine laminated, I just put it in a clear folder, and I can use that when I want to write words or letters, and then you just wipe it off with a paper towel when you're done. Also, you can use 2D props like paper microphone, paper animals, things like that. I personally don't. I just travel with my whiteboard and my microphone because of my whiteboard I can usually draw what I need. So just keep it simple. It works great. Remember, the platform with SayAbc is amazing. The platform does most of the work for you, so you don't need to feel stressed about bringing all of your props with you. Keep it simple. My second and probably one of the most important things is your internet connection. It's a hard requirement. You have to have a good internet connection while you're teaching. That's just the basics of the job. So before you get to your Airbnb or your lodging or your hotel, check and make sure they have high-speed internet. And of course everyone's going to say, yeah, we have it. So the first thing I do when I get to my place where I'm staying is I have an app on my phone that I can check the speed of the internet. And I do that right away as soon as I get there. Just in case there's a problem, I know, and I can find somewhere else to teach, or unfortunately have to sub out my class or cancel it. An option, if you do know ahead of time that where you're going is not going to have high-speed internet, is you can always add to your cell phone plan data and use your cell phone as a hotspot. I have done that and it's worked very well. Just a note, it does take up a lot of data. Video streaming takes up a good chunk of your data. So keep an eye on that, or be prepared that you'll have to pay to upgrade your speed and your data if you're planning to use your hotspot. That's an option that could work if you know that you won't have internet. You could try to use your cell phone hotspot. Next tip is your background. If you're traveling, this obviously is not going to be your office. You have to plan ahead of time. You just can't get there and show up and hope everything works. You do have to do some kind of setup. Number 1, blank background. You don't want to have your hotel bed or your husband or your kids sleeping in the background or anything weird like that. So make sure you have some kind of a clean background. Make sure you have good lighting. Hotel lighting is not the best. It's very soft and romantic. Or I'm not sure, wherever you're staying, you'll have to check your lighting. The best lighting is natural daylight. But if you're teaching with SayAbc, most of the time zones you're going to be in will not be light out when you want to teach. So you have to check your lighting ahead of time. One thing that has worked very well for me, I've talked about it in a couple other videos, is I have a Selfie Light. I don't have it with me, but I'll link it in my description below. I bought it on Amazon. It's something that clips onto my computer, and when I turn the lights on in my hotel or my Airbnb and then I add that Selfie Light, it does the job to get my face and my immediate background sufficiently illuminated. But that's a hard requirement. They do not want shadows around your face or your background. It just doesn't look professional to be teaching in that kind of environment. So check your environment ahead of time. I have done it where I can teach in a bathroom. It has actually pretty good lighting and a clean background. So that's a little tip. If you guys cannot find somewhere, you can prop your laptop on the toilet and put a towel on the ground and sit, and it's actually the perfect height. Speaking of height, make sure your laptop again is at a good height. If you're just putting it on a table, you'll be actually looking down at it. So you might need to get some books, like a phone book, or just a bag, and put it on that so your camera is right at correct eye level for the students. You want your camera to be looking straight at your eyes. Another tip, lots of alarms. Don't trust yourself. Traveling is exhausting, even if you're traveling within the same time zone. So if you're planning to teach, make sure you set your alarm, your husband's alarm, or various alarms, and set those alarms to help you get up. And all the more so if you're traveling to other time zones, your body will not be used to getting up at that different hour. And it's happened to me. I've slept through that one alarm. I set one alarm because I thought, oh, I've got this. I slept through it. So now when we're traveling, my husband will set an alarm on his phone and I will set an alarm on mine. So he will get up and make sure that I'm up and I'm okay, just in case. And that's helped save me. So make sure you set your alarms and don't trust yourself. Do not plan to teach on the days that you're traveling or the days that you are traveling and arriving to your destination. Anything could happen when you're traveling. You could get delays, you could get storms, flat tire, anything. And you don't want to put yourself in that position where, oh, you're going to miss your class because of a circumstance that's out of your control. So if you do have a class schedule on the day you're traveling to your location or from back home, I would suggest that you don't teach, or if you have a class schedule, to sub it out. For now, SayAbc does have a good policy about subbing classes. If you give them 24 hours notice, that's fine. So don't plan to teach while you are going to travel. In the app on SayAbc, there's also an option to change your time zone. If you're going somewhere for a week or 2 weeks, you can definitely do that. You can change your time zone. So in the app, it will actually reflect the time zone of where you currently are, not where you usually are. And that way you don't have to be calculating, adding and subtracting to figure out what time you have to wake up. That's another way to avoid a teacher no-show. Where you are going, I suggest to do a test check on in your environment before you start teaching. Why? Something that I've also done incorrectly is I've tried teaching when we go on vacation with my husband and friends, and I didn't quite check the my noise level of where we are, and I totally woke up everyone in the house. My friend later came out after I was done teaching, and he was like, "How's George?" And I had just taught a George, and it was a trial student, and he just could not circle. I was like, "George, circle! George, circle! Can you circle George?" And I woke up the whole house. And if I had known, I would have gone to a different room or tried something else so I won't disturb everyone. So what I do is I ask my husband or a friend or whoever we're with renting the room. I say, okay, I'm going to go in this room, and I speak at the top of my voice, and I say, "Can you hear me?" And if they say, "Yeah, a little," or "I don't hear you," then I know it's good. So just if you're traveling with a group, out of consideration, so you don't wake up everyone. That way, then you will still be able to travel with people. My last tip for you guys is it's okay to travel when you're teaching. Some people worry oh, what's going to happen? It's not a crime, it's not a sin. If you have the correct environment and you have the correct internet speed, that's all they require, that you get the job done. I don't hide when I'm teaching. Like on this trip, the kids know me. I have a couple of homerooms, and they were like, "Teacher, where are you?" And I said, "I'm in Barbados." We were in Barbados before. And I said to them, "Do you know where Barbados is?" And one knew, and others didn't, so they Googled it in the class, and they're like, "Oh, wow." I said, "Yeah, today I went to the beach to swim." And I showed them, and some were like, "Yay, I like swimming." And others didn't know what beach was, so I explained to them. And I showed them a picture of my husband and I in the beach on my cell phone. And it was really cute. One of the girls was like, "Teacher, I see you, and I see a big boy." Side note, my husband is Japanese, so he is Asian. He looks Asian. So I think for them, they thought he was Chinese. And so all they saw was their teacher and this like big boy next to her. So I explained to her, "Oh no, it's not a big boy, it's my husband." So it's great. You can show them, if you have your laptop, you could actually turn your laptop so they could see your environment. If you could show them outside, use it into an educational thing. You can show them pictures of where you are. So in that 5 minutes, when you get into the classroom and you're waiting for class to start, that could be something that you talk with them about. Or if you end class a couple minutes early and you don't know what to do with them, you could talk about where you are, show them your pictures of your trip, and make it into something educational. You can literally take them from China and travel with you around the world. So those are just some of my tips about traveling and teaching with SayAbc. It's another reason why I love this job. I don't have to choose travel or work. I can continue my travels with my husband and continue to bring in some kind of a source of income and teach the wonderful kids I get to meet. I hope this was helpful, and if you guys have any questions, as always, you can feel free to reach me. My contact information is here below in the description. And now I would love to take you guys to show you some of this beautiful park. Okay. Goodbye. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.